Just close your eyes.
Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we are looking at something, well, something pretty unusual.
It's definitely not your everyday court filing.
No. Get this. It's a legal document filed on Christmas Day 2025, and it's aimed squarely at the General Sessions Court in Chester County, Tennessee.
And the title itself tells you a lot. It's an emergency motion for forensic accounting and judicial notice of constitutional violations. It was submitted by a citizen, Josiah Haltom.
Who calls himself a divine witness.
Right, which, that framing right there attempts to elevate this whole thing. It's not just a legal fight. He's positioning it as a moral one.
Exactly. And our mission for this deep dive is to really distill the core claim here, which is about, quote, official lawlessness.
Mm-hmm.
He uses incredibly strong language. He says he was subjected to flagrant, unconscionable, and legally indefensible violations by state agents.
And he makes sure to add, acting under color of law.
Which is such important language.
It is. It means they were using their official authority, their badges, their uniforms, to commit these alleged violations. He's asking the court to judge its own people.
Okay, so let's unpack this. He lays out a kind of blueprint of misconduct, and it all kicks off on September 29th, 2025.
Right.
He leads with a Fourth Amendment violation, warrantless seizure.
No probable cause. He alleges that the officers, led by a specialist Heathcock, based the entire apprehension on a visual guess.
A visual guess about a substance, and this is where it gets really relevant to, modern drug laws.
It really is, because he argues the substance was legally indistinguishable from marijuana. It was hemp.
Which is legal in Tennessee.
Exactly. So a visual guess or even the smell, that's just not enough for probable cause anymore. That challenges the entire basis for the stop.
So if the initial stop was flawed, how did it escalate from there?
Yeah.
This takes us to the 14th Amendment claim, due process.
And this part is fascinating. The filing says Haltom actually presented conclusive legal documentation right there on the scene.
Things like, affiliate paperwork for the product? Legal disclaimers?
Yeah, all of it. He basically handed them the exculpatory evidence proving the product was legit. But the motion argues the officers showed willful blindness.
Willful blindness.
They just deliberately ignored it, left it out of the record. And that, he argues, creates a two-tiered system of justice.
And that pattern, that intentional omission, it leads to what is, I think, the wildest claim in this whole document.
The First Amendment one.
The First Amendment retaliation violation.
Mm-hmm.
He claims the arrest was punishment.
Purely punitive.
It happened immediately after he reported a neighbor for using counterfeit currency.
Yeah.
So he's framing this as payback for being an active citizen.
And that accusation train just keeps rolling. It culminates with a charge of official misconduct against another officer, Officer Haynes.
Right, for fabricating evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Haltom calls the official report a forensic fraud.
A forensic fraud. And he lists why. He says it falsely alleged selling, manufacturing, and distributing with zero physical evidence.
It also completely omitted the legal paperwork we just talked about.
Mm-hmm. And he says the report narratively weaponized a collision that happened during the arrest to retroactively justify using excessive force.
Wow. So that brings us to what he actually wants the court to do. He's essentially telling the judge, if you proceed with this case based on a fraudulent report, you become part of the problem.
You become complicit, exactly. And his demands, his prayers for relief, they go so far beyond a standard defense.
What's he asking for?
First, dismissal of all charges with prejudice. He calls them fruit of the poisonous tree.
Meaning the whole case is tainted from the start.
Correct. Then he wants a judicial finding that the arrest itself was illegal. And here's the big one. A show cause hearing.
For the officers.
For officers Heathcock and Haynes. He wants to force them to get on the stand under oath and justify their actions to the judge.
And then there's this last part, the language he uses. He asks the court to process all his future filings as a mandate for systemic repair under the principle of ARVID.
Mutual guarantee. Yeah, it's a complete rejection of business as usual. He's setting an incredibly high bar. He doesn't just want the case dismissed. He wants the court to fundamentally realign its function.
To act as a forum for, what was the phrase?
Responsive forensic accounting. He wants the judicial system to audit the integrity of law enforcement, not just rubber stamp its reports.
So what does this all mean for you listening at home? If a case is built on the idea that officers actively ignored evidence that proves innocence right there on the spot, it raises a huge question. At what point does the need for judicial oversight challenge the protection of sovereign immunity for for police.
Right. The document is basically asking who is going to repair the community's trust when it's broken like this.
And that leads to a final thought to chew on. Building on this idea of having your paperwork ready, if you as a citizen anticipate a potential misunderstanding and you provide all the legal proof you have before an arrest is even made, what's the reasonable expectation? Should you be protected? Or can that evidence just vanish from the official police report?